Hey everybody, we're continuing with the Beyond the Brochure tour here at the 2026 Tiffin Motorhomes Reveal, right? We got all the new products. This is a brand new product, and I get the chance to spend a little bit of time with John from Owl and Trey Edwards. He's the Tiffin rep for this beautiful new product, the Open Trail. But this is amazing. Look at the size of this thing. John, how did you get involved in all this?
We've been in building out, kind of ruggedizing and making aftermarket parts for B-Vans for about 6 years now. And we've grown a lot since we started in my garage, and customers still want to get away from the hustle and bustle. They want to be out in the wilderness. They want to be alone, doing their adventures. These new ruggedized kind of, I don't even really want to call them RVs, ruggedized adventure vehicles.
Sounds like a good plan, yeah.
It's where the market's going because there's no downside.
So here's the thing, John. Let me ask you a question. How does your integration with Tiffin help the end user on a product like this?
So hats off to Tiffin and to Trey. So many people come into a market, and when they're an OEM, they have a ton of hubris about what they do. And they really discount the aftermarket. And what happens is a lot of people actually start their journey with reaching out to us because they want to know what vehicle to buy, what platform is the best for long-term use, etc. And so
they make you the expert on the product, yeah.
And so Trey has been definitely divergent from the rest of the world in that he's gone out in the community and he's spoken with the customers. He's seeing how they're using them. He's sitting around the campfire and having a cold one and learning how they use these vehicles. And then he reached out to us and we're like, we've been begging to do something with an OEM because we know what it could be. We did these in 2 weeks, which is a very compressed timeline.
To customize, build, and design, yeah.
There are definitely prototypes, there are aspects that I want to change, but overall the presence and the look of it, I absolutely love. I think this is going to be where the industry is going. As this industry changes and it goes from what I'll call a pavement princess to a ruggedized boondocking off-grid, do anything vehicle, you need different gear.
Right.
You've got to get a vehicle like this with a long back end. It gives you the space inside, but you lose departure angle. You're going to get on a trail and you're going to hit things. So what do? We lift it up. We go from a dually where you're prone to having rocks get caught between the tire and cause a sidewall puncture.
Oh, wow.
We go to a super single. Loses that problem, gets you more tire sidewall.
I saw the tires are huge on this thing.
When you're in the middle of nowhere and you get a flat, you got to have a spare. You got to have a full-size spare. This one has a winch. You can winch yourself out, you can winch others out, and a good time can go to a bad time real fast if you don't have the right gear.
Well,
absolutely.
To answer your question about what does that partnership bring to the table for the consumer, is it's that expertise right there. So Tiffin, we know how to build motorhomes, right? We know how to build quality motorhomes, but thoughtful engineering, the component quality, things like that is what sets us apart. What we don't have a ton of experience in is that off-road experience. And that's what Owl brings to the table, and that combination, I think, because us being able to lean on their expertise, I call John up all the time and say, hey, we're thinking about doing this, what do you think? And John will be like, no, man, that's stupid. If you do that, this is gonna break. You gotta do it that way. We're like, oh, thanks, man. Like, it really is those conversations that make a great product.
To talk through what we've done here, this is, it's a panel, it's a modular panel, so you can really mount anything you want to it. So behind this tire is actually a hole and slot pattern that's kind of our design language. And then we have a tire basket on there. So for customers that maybe don't go to a super single setup, they can put this gear on it and they can put a box on here for added storage.
Yeah.
You've got a ladder to go up to the top of your vehicle.
And that's got all bolt mounts on there too.
Exactly. So our tire basket has mounts, so you can put a shovel on it, you can put roto packs, traction boards, all kinds of stuff. And then as you move around to the front of the van, you've got a full coverage bumper. It's called our Ridgeline Max. So we do a few things here. This is a massive steel bumper, and we do this for two reasons. One, with a big box on the back, I'm a huge fan of form and function. I want the weight of the vehicle to match, right? So the bumper on like our GHX, much smaller, leaner, it's the width of the van.
Right.
On this one, we wanted the bumper to be wider than the front cab. We because the rear cab is wider. It also gives you a really nice steel structure if you have an animal strike, if you're up in Montana or anywhere where they have larger animals, Canada.
Someone jumps out in front of you? Yeah.
The point is to get remote. And what's remote? Big old animals.
Yeah.
So you've got all those things. We've got a 13,500 pound winch.
Oh my goodness.
One of the problems with vehicles this size is they don't make winches for them. So a 13,500 pound winch, indexing machine, Cerakoted fairly.
So if this gets caught in a ditch, you could literally pull yourself out with that winch.
Oh, absolutely. You could hang this entire truck from that winch.
I noticed you had air chucks both front and back.
Yep.
Tell me why someone might want that or need that.
So when you're going off-road, one of the first things you want to do is air down. And it does a couple of things. If you look at, maybe the sun will be in the way, but you see all these knobs and treads on the side of the tire. So when you go off-road, these are probably at 40, 50 PSI right now. You're gonna run them down anywhere from about 17 to 25 PSI off-road.
Okay.
And what it's gonna do, it's gonna allow, as you air down this tire, that contact patch is gonna actually double or triple in size.
Oh, wow.
Imagine if you do that on 4 tires, it's essentially going from like 4 tires to 8 tires, right? So traction goes up dramatically, and then your ride quality. If you've got washboard road, if you're down at 20 PSI, it's smooth as silk. If you're up at 70, 80 PSI, your fillings are prattling out of your mouth.
Yeah, you just feel it every little micro bump. But that, you're right, it kind of gives it more of a crawly, grab on the way kind of feel to it when you're driving. Now I noticed the suspension on this thing is heavily upgraded.
So what we've got in here is a set of Falcon adjustable shocks, and then we go with increased OptiRate leaf springs in the rear. So you're going to get a higher spring rate in the rear, which you need for this weight of vehicle. So you've got an adjustable shock there. This is called a rally strut. So when you've got a vehicle this size, what you've got to worry about off-road is fluid capacity and temperature. So when you're on a washboard road, just like your wheels are going around at thousands of RPMs when you're going fast.
Yeah,
that constantly going up and down heats up the fluid in those shocks to an insane temperature. And so by having these piggyback reservoirs and big shock tubes and shafts, it's going to hold up to the off-road conditions, and it's going to keep your fluid temperatures cooler.
So does it circulate that fluid? Is that what it's doing?
It doesn't, it's just got a ton more of it. So
okay, so it takes longer to heat it up.
Smooth body shock, you've only got this much, fluid. But we've got a much bigger shock that holds more fluid, and then you've got this whole piggyback reservoir that's going to hold probably about double the amount of fluid that a regular shock would. And then we add an additional shock to factory. So you've got not just more fluid, but more shock for the weight of these vehicles. What we decided to do on the outside was take the outside up to the level of what they've done on the inside. So you can be glamping on the inside, and you can be kind of Mad Max on the outside, and it's a match made in heaven.
Well, and to speak to that, like when I say Tiffin Adventure, like we're in the process of splitting this off as sort of a semi-separate brand, so we can build our own community around it. And what I would say the number one defining feature of what makes the Tiffin Adventure product different than any of our competitors out there building a similar thing is the fact that our number one goal is our units leave the factory ready to go off-road.
You don't have to get it all upfit with all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's ready to go.
That saves you a ton of money.
Yeah.
Totally. And to look at a vehicle like this, people that have the money to buy a vehicle like this, they have they have money, not time, right? So could you do this yourself by buying piecemeal parts over time? Absolutely. But the fact of the matter is, you're delaying enjoying the vehicle that you're paying a finance rate on 6 months, a year, because we do this in 2 weeks with like 5 people working on it, including myself. This is a much longer time frame if you're doing that piecemeal, so why not buy it off the showroom floor ready to adventure?
We're on the inside now, and this is a brilliant thing, but as I came in, that front door looks a little bit different. Tell me about that.
Yes, so some of those front entry doors will rate themselves as bear resistant, bear proof, but that's your exterior door, right?
Right.
What we did is we took the same concept and we applied it to the interior door. So we've replaced every plastic component on that door with solid steel. That door, when closed and locked, can keep a bear out for breaking in.
The screen door can?
Yes, the screen door.
Oh my goodness.
And that, I'll tell people that a lot in Alabama, where we're from, obviously, when these are made.
Right.
And they're like, that's a gimmick, right? And someone said that, and someone else who lives in an RV piped up, no, that's a real problem where I'm from. Like out in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh yeah.
Out up north, like that, in this class of vehicle, you have your door open, you're cooking inside, they smell food. They just come on in. Like that's a real issue.
So let's get inside. You know, what I see compared to the outside, this is starting to really look kind of Tiffin-esque, if I could coin a word.
Well, and as I mentioned earlier, this is made in the same factory as the Wayfarer, right? So a lot of the same design concepts. You have your premium solid surface countertops here.
Oh yeah.
You've got your stainless steel sink that pops. You have a pop-up faucet in there. You have your really high quality HPL drawer fronts here.
Oh wow.
So it's not just cheap plywood or anything or cheap laminate. This is very high quality HPL. It'll stand up in a variety of climates and whatnot.
Yeah, because humidity is a big deal, right? With RVs, right?
So what you don't see here quite as obvious, because we've covered it up with wood, is the fact that these cabinets all throughout the entire coach are black powder coated aluminum. And I can show that here on these.
Okay.
So you see this is actually, the entire cabinet is made out of black powder coated aluminum. And what that means is, one, that's really, really strong. There's nothing else like that on the market in this class, in this price range. Two, what that means is there's no rust in here. There's no components that are going to rust when you're using this outdoors in a humid environment, when you're leaving that bear-proof screen door open for some fresh air.
Right.
You get all the humidity in, you're not going to have components rust. You're not going to have things fall apart. Nothing can mold and fall through and your cabinet come off the wall. That happens a lot with these off-road products.
Because the vehicle's articulating so much, going up and back and forth. So yeah, the cabinets have to be extra strong, or else you're running the risk of having them just shake loose in 6 months.
Yes. So the box, you have a welded aluminum frame. This shower, this is unlike anything else you'll see on the market. This is actually a completely welded aluminum framed out shower. This wall is 2 inches thick. What that does is this also attaches your ceiling to your floor right here in the middle at this pillar, adds a lot of stability. Everyone else is putting cheap molded fiberglass showers in there. You can press on it and you feel like your hand's going to go through.
Big guys like you and I, we're going to be cracking right through those over time, right?
Yeah, get in there.
All right.
See the size of it. You got a skylight there on the ceiling.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's tall up in here. I still have like 5 or 6 inches. I'm over 6 feet tall with my shoes on.
So as you're noticing, these are the same doors we have outside.
Right.
This is again black powder coated aluminum. Not one component in here can rust. This is a medicine cabinet.
Oh yeah.
This is a plastic board, it's not wood. This is again black powder coated aluminum.
Oh yeah, it's that plastic composite. Sometimes you see it built on the outside of nice homes. And you have the shower miser, yep, fantastic. You know, this is a really well-designed bathroom. It's amazing how much room is in here and how much functionality.
Even your hinges on here.
Yep.
You'll see, this is a piano hinge, black powder coated aluminum. Because you're going to get moisture in there when you close the door.
That's right.
You don't want that to rust.
And you got a fantastic fan right over here, so you can suck that moisture right out. You have an AC, and that even the door feels a lot heavier than what you'd get in a vehicle of this class.
Yeah.
For sure. Tell us a little bit about the bedroom.
Yeah, so you got your fairly standard layout here with your 2 twin beds that convert into a king. And when you put it all together, you'll end up with this facing up. So you'll have your cup holders, you have a little spot for your cell phones if you want to use this in twin. Or you fold out as a bed. There's actually a ladder that will attach to the end of it. That's in the other one. We can do some B-roll of that. So you have a full king size bed back here.
Yeah, what I notice is not only do you have 3 big cabinets over the back, but you have 2 drawers in a closet space on either side.
To give you some insight into our design process here.
Right.
So these, what we wanted to do is we wanted to add features that address concerns. So one thing I would hear about people that live in similar units is once you convert this into king mode, you have no access to your storage, right? So we've added these drawers.
Oh, wow.
That's what that board was. So these come out. So our original idea, and again, this is some insight into our process, was we'll add a hanging space here. Well, we field test everything. So I personally lived in this for several days, had to use it as a hanging space. What I discovered was this is too short for usable hanging space. So what we're doing is we're changing up this design. So this door will open this way, and this one will open this way. So you'll have your large linen closet here, you can have a laundry hamper here, but all of this is accessible when your bed is in king mode.
Because the way the doors open, so when it beds down, you can reach right in there and get out.
Because if you had just drawers that open right here, you can't reach under your mattress super easy to grab stuff out. It's just very inconvenient. And also, I've yet to see something like this where you have convenient large linen storage areas.
Yeah.
You got so this is the same gray air conditioner you have in the GH1. It's the ducted version of it, so it ducts all the way to the front.
And the Brie is so quiet, like you have to put
very quiet, especially sitting right over you.
Yeah, right.
15K BTU, runs at about 50-60% of the power consumption of the Coleman Mach, so very energy efficient. So that's been a big selling point of the GH1s.
Trey, this has been an amazing walkthrough with this tremendous open trail. It's just an amazing vehicle. It breaks all the rules, starts everything from scratch, and it's so wonderful that Tiffin has been spending the energy, time, and money to design products like this for those kinds of customers. I can't thank you enough for joining us. John did a great job with the Owl outside, and man, I can't wait to get this thing on the market. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you. I just want to give a shout out to the whole Tiffin team on this one. It's been really exciting to see. We've had some of the engineers at our company have, in their own spare time, they build rock crawlers, they do all sorts of off-road stuff. So we've kind of put together that team, those people to build these off-road products. You've got Trent Tiffin, he has a lot of experience in the expedition vehicle space, stuff like that. So this was one of his babies, so he put a lot into this and defined a lot of the features and whatnot, set a lot of the criteria for us to go out and build around. So it's just been a really great team effort. The team out at Winfield, Alabama is fantastic, building them and everything. So we're real excited to take this to market.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks.